Lights, please. Ava, turn, face forward. Now, here's the first one. It wasn't the best looking triangle going. It almost looks like a straight line, but not exactly. And it's the gray triangle is the triangle that we were beginning with. Triangle ABC. Yes?
Is there a point off if they do a triangle like that?
Let me just go through the whole thing. Obviously, if yours doesn't look like that, then you must apply to the point wrong or two. Okay, so we get the gray triangle, and then they ask us first to reflect it over the y-axis. The y-axis is the vertical one, so it's count and repeat. 2 more, count and repeat, 8, count and repeat. And the gray triangle becomes the purple triangle. Michael, can you pay attention, please? So the gray triangle becomes the purple triangle. Then they say to do a dilation of 0.5, which means you either multiply by 0.5 or divide by 2. It's the same thing. And that produces the little green triangle. And then you have to look at all the coordinates on the purple one and cut them all in half. So here are your correct coordinates there. God bless. A lot of people got this right. Okay, a lot of people got 100 on this. All right, are there any questions? Alex.
Never mind.
What?
He said never mind.
Okay. Now we go to scan 2. And this, can we stop with obnoxious childlike noises? This is the second quiz. And again, we did get a good number of hundreds on this one as well. First one, distribute. 5x minus 15 equals 3x plus 19. Is this the same side or an opposite side situation? Opposite side. So opposite side. So we minus 3x to both sides. You get 2x minus 15 is 19. Now it's the numbers that are on the opposite side. So we do the opposite operation. 2x is 34 divided by 2. X is 17. Now we get to this guy. And the biggest mistake I saw with this one is people not rounding off to the right place. So that's kind of good in the sense that if that's your biggest problem, you know a lot about how to get the question right. It's kind of bad because that's a bad place to lose points. Okay? We give you the formula. Volume is pi r squared h. A couple of people messed up the r. What do you think r stands for? Radius. Radius is halfway across the circle. The radius is 1.5, not 5. A couple of people messed that up. Okay? Not too many, but a couple, maybe 3 or 4. And then the last thing is the 1.5 is squared. So if I multiply all of them out, I get 35.325. And a lot of people wrote down an answer of 35.3. The problem is it says here, nearest cubic foot. A cubic foot, nearest foot is a whole number. It's 5 feet, 10 feet, 12 feet, or in this case, 35. So the correct answer is just 35, not 35.3. Okay? Yeah, maybe you went to 36. Any questions on this at all? Okay. Now, today's lesson sheet. I wasn't happy with how far we got on yesterday's lesson. The good news is that we will get all the way through today's lesson, for sure, and then we will continue on. Remember what I said yesterday? This material is extremely important
For next year.
for next year.
Nice.
You're not going to find it on your final exam? Yeah, I know, right? Because it's pretty easy. You will not find this on your final exam, nor will you find it as part of your regular Math 8 curriculum. What we are trying to do is get you a step ahead for next year so that you can prosper at the next level. All right. And considering we've already done a chunker review, I think we have the time to get that done. Projection mode. Here it is. Projection mode. All right, so there we go. Excellent. Okay, I'm going to give you the answers to the 3 do-it questions, and then you can see if you want to go over any of them. The first one will work out to be there are no answers.
Nice.
Okay. Next one, 10. Next one,
3.3 equals 2.
3, 4, 5. I better do it.
Wait, you were doing it mentally?
I was doing it mentally, and I came up with a little under 2.
Yes, yes.
I got two, I got two.
Okay, so, guys, what's the first thing we do when we see an equation like this? Distribute, good. So I'm gonna distribute the 3. Make sure you do it by both of them. Is it 3 times x plus 4? Yeah, so that's 3x plus 12 plus x minus 2 is 20 minus x. Now I need to do some combining like terms on this side. 3x's and 1x is 4x. Our lesson today is all about combining like terms, and we've actually been doing combining like terms already this year within these equations. And then 12 in this is plus 10 equals 20 minus x. Now it's an opposite side, opposite operation situation. Adding x to both sides, I get 5x plus 10 is 20. Am I making a mistake there?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No,
Yeah.
Hey,
No.
Manuel, he's fine.
But the equation, there's no x after 20.
yeah, there is.
There is.
I think it says minus x.
Yeah, it says minus x.
We're on the front side, right? So then I'm going to minus 10 for both sides. Die, 5x is 10, dividing by 5. X is 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've actually used these algebraic principles. Questions?
Yeah. Yeah. I got 3.3 like repeated. I don't know.
Well, did you get, when you distributed, did you get 3x plus 12 plus x minus 2?
No, because there's minus 2 right there. So it's 3x plus 10 equals 1.
Right, but there's an x here. So altogether there's 4x plus 10. And then
Oh,
this
I
says
wrote-
20
I
minus x, so you have to add the x, you get 5x.
I wrote 4x plus 10 and then it went back down to 3. I don't know why I did that.
What's the name of the property in the next one? Distributed, good. All right, so what we've been using is actually the content of today's lesson. And we've been informally doing it within equations during the course of the year. Michael, pick the airplanes up, walk them to the garbage, throw them in the garbage. You don't make airplanes during class, any time. Now, what we're talking about is this whole concept of combining like terms. You know, when we think about mathematics, and we think about what's good about math and what can be frustrating about math. Within math, there are some picky details that we have to get good at. However, there's something I find really cool about math. Yeah, you know, I find politics to be a frustrating thing sometimes, girls, because, like, let's take, for example, a very sensitive issue of our times, the building of the wall. On the one hand, many countries have walls. In fact, almost all countries have walls. Mexico itself has a wall on the southern border.
It's cool.
But then they're telling us, don't put a wall on our southern border. Some people say that the people coming up from Latin America have very bad lives, and we should welcome them with open arms so they can make a better life. And there's an argument to be made for that. But then other people will turn around and say, yeah, but the people who were here are getting shut out of jobs and are being taxed to death to pay for this other situation. There's an argument to be made for that. The point is, there's no clear-cut right or wrong answer. There are very extenuating circumstances. Some of the people who come across the border are among the finest people you will ever meet in your entire life.
Right.
Yet, I just read a report yesterday that said that they have captured many tens of thousands violent criminals coming across the border. And you guys have heard about the MS-13 in Central Islip, right?
Yeah.
Who killed those people, and they just arrested another one today for murder, or attempted murder. It is, it's on the website. I just looked it up that third period or fourth period I looked at it and saw it. So, you know, there's a lot of great people who come across the border, and there are murderers who come across the border. So the truth is that it's not a cut and dry, this is the answer kind of thing. And both sides have really, really good points. That's politics. Science. Science is a cool thing. I have a degree in physics. I love science. But the truth is, that science, the science you're reading in your textbook is wrong. A lot of the times, not all the time, a lot of the time. For instance, let's give you this one, you ready? What's the smallest particles in the world?
Atoms.
Nope.
What is it called? The protons and neutrons.
Protons, neutrons, and
Electrons.
electrons. Wrong.
What?
What?
Oh, okay.
Quarks.
What?
A quark.
What's that?
And a subquark.
I'm done.
We've been lied.
Oh, life was.
It's not that you're lied to.
Why are we coming?
What happens with science is this. What happens, listen, here's what happens with science. Science, by its very essence, is a inquisitive field. And science is always trying to learn more. So when you read in a science textbook that the smallest particles are atoms, of atoms are protons, neutrons, and electrons, what they're really saying is, as far as we know now. And textbooks are written 3 years before they're ever published. 2, 3, 4 years before they're ever published. And then they hang out in schools, because you can't afford to buy a new textbook every year. So they hang out in schools for 6, 8, 10, 12 years. You think nothing changes in those 15 years? Lots changes. So what you're reading in those science textbooks is not the latest and most up-to-date science that's out there. Yes? A quark?
It's the thing that's on the beer, on the.
What?
The thing you just said, whatever you.
It doesn't say B,
Quark.
it doesn't say
Quark,
B.
Q-U-A-R-K.
What's that mean?
It's, they make up protons, neutrons, and electrons, and then there's subquarks, and there's even ones that I can't even remember the name of. But they're constantly finding out these things all the time. Look at what gravity is. What we think gravity is, Einstein completely turned that around in the theory of relativity. So what you're reading about in your textbooks with gravity isn't really what gravity is, but the problem is most of us aren't smart enough to know Einstein's way of doing it. So we just go with the old way, because we can't put 2 and 2 together. It has to actually do with the space-time continuum. Now, it's not that those things are bad. They're very good, and it's great to learn science because it's teaching your brain to learn a certain way. Just like with history, it's really important to understand when you discuss something as sensitive or anything as the wall, that you actually sit there and listen to what the other side has to say. Because, in all honesty, there's a whole lot that goes into this. But in math, I find peace. Because in math, when I solve this equation, there's no debating.
What about English?
The answer is 2. English is nice for communication skills. It's really nice, and I love to write. But it's not the same kind of thing as math. Now, what we're really getting at over these couple of days, Melvin, is an eternal truth. And we want to try to wrap our heads around this. It's a very simple thing, and the hardest part of math is seeing how simple it is. What are 5 shirts and 2 shirts? 7 shirts. So if you go to the mall, and let's just, I know this is an extreme example, but we'll go with it anyway. Let's say you go to the Apple store, and you buy 3 iPhones for your family, and then you go buy 2 more iPhones for your family. What do you have when you get home?
6 iPhones.
10 MacBooks.
No more. One iPhone.
3 iPhones and 2 more iPhones. What do you have?
No more
MacBook.
money.
Yeah, you don't open it up and see a MacBook Pro. You don't see shirts.
Wait, that depends if you get scammed.
Stop. Be serious.
But it's true.
Be serious. You don't open up the bag. If you go to the store and you buy the 3 iPhones, you put them in a bag. And you buy 2 more iPhones, you put them in a bag. When you get home, what do you expect to be in that bag?
5 iPhones.
5 iPhones. You don't expect to see 5 shirts. If 5 shirts appear in a bag, you're gonna be like, what the heck? If 5 MacBook Pros, you might be, hey, this is good, but it's still not supposed to happen that way. Whenever you add things together, you always get that kind of thing. If I add shirts to shirts, what do I get? Shirts. I don't come home and find pants. I don't come home and find pencils. I find shirts. And it's the same exact idea when it comes to combining like terms on this sheet. So the first question says this. It says 9a minus 3b minus 4a plus 2b. And what I want you to understand about this, the correct way to view it, everything, Melvin, turn, face forward, get your arm off his desk. Everything in this problem is addition. Now you might see those minus signs and say, oh, those are minuses. They're really best looked at as negatives. In each case, look in front of the number and it'll tell you what kind of a number it is, or the term. What kind of 9A's are they? Positive. What kind of 3B's? What kind of 4A's? And what kind of 2B's? So, what are positive 9A's and negative 4A's? 5A's. That's the same exact statement as saying I had 9 iPhones in a bag, and I took 4 of the iPhones away. How many iPhones are left in the bag? 5 iPhones. In this case, instead of an iPhone, it's an A. Now, what's negative 3B's and 2B's? Negative what? Negative B. And that is your answer. Now, if you went shopping and you bought 5 iPhones and 2 pairs of pants, when you got home and you looked in the bag, what would you expect to find? 5 iPhones and 2 pairs of pants. Do they suddenly combine into a pant iPhone?
Yes.
Now, just like they don't combine, so too do we leave it here. The answer is 5A minus B, and we are done. You cannot combine your A's and your B's. You try the next one on the page, number 2.
Very good.
Do not pack up, try number 2. Altogether, I have negative 7x's plus 10. Hasta la vista, vaya con Dios, toodaloo, ta-ta. Arrivederci, smile a lot. Ciao, arrivederci, adios amigos y amigas. Ava? Where's Ava? Good, send her back.
Is this like a topic or it's just review?
I told you, this is brand new stuff for the high school next year. Yeah, it forms the foundation of a lot of what you do in the high school.
Because I already read it, so it's pretty easy.
Good, keep it up. See you later.